Are you kidding me? Yo, 12K? 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 That is ridiculous. Can I buy it? Can I buy it? No. Oh man. They just dropped a bomb on all of these other camera manufacturing companies. What? They have a 12K camera, an 8K shooting up to 220 frames per second. Let's not talk about the codec that you can edit on a laptop. Oh, and Generation 5 color science, yes please. You guys know that I've been shooting with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K for quite some time now, and one thing I learned out of all the camera companies that I've used, Sony, Canon, Nikon, and all them, they all break down when you do some grading. Blackmagic is the only one that you can really push so far and to maintain quality through color grading. Now it's a $10,000 camera and I probably won't buy it, but I am so pumped about this camera. Now let me break down who this camera is for, if you should buy it or not. Right now, there's the Blackmagic hitting people with 12K, the Canon R5 dropping 8K overheating, which isn't that big of a deal and it's probably gonna be fixed pretty soon. And then you got Sony coming out with the a7 III, a7S3, whatever. Who knows what Nikon's doing, and then holy cow. This is legendary. This is mind-blowing. It is a game-changing camera. Now, a question that I get asked every single day, all of the time is, what camera should I buy? What lens should I buy? Just those two questions alone occupy my day for quite some time. If you guys want to know what lens you should buy, you can visit some of my other videos in the past, but quick, Sigma 40mm 1.4 prime lens, call it a day, you're done. Camera, what camera should you buy? Should you buy the Sony? Should you buy the Canon R5? Should you buy the Blackmagic camera? And all of the other ones coming out. The answer is the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K. That's not what you were expecting, was it? Let me break down why I still think that's a good choice. One, the Blackmagic 12K that just came out is for a very specific audience. Those people that are shooting higher end productions, it even says it all over the website, higher end productions. That comes with a higher budget. If your clients aren't paying you that, gosh, there's mosquitoes everywhere. I don't typically wave my hands like this. Ah! If you're shooting a large film, or if you're shooting a $100,000 project that requires talent, locations, rentals, lenses, multiple days of shooting, lighting, and the studio, all of that, this camera would probably be perfect for you. At a $10,000 price point, it is the best way to get into higher production for a cheap price. Now I say cheap because if you're a professional, $10,000 is nothing. If you want to learn more about how I make $10,000 every single month, drop a comment down below. I'll give you guys some tips to start out. Now moving on to the Canon EOS-R 5. Should you buy it in comparison to the others? Well, I still love the Blackmagic 6K, so I still think it beats out all the other cameras by far because it's geared towards filmmakers. It's not trying to appeal towards photographers and filmmakers. However, I have gotten some really good photos from shooting with the Blackmagic camera and using the still screenshot mode that they offer in this camera. It is remarkable. The EOS-R 5 is appealing to both photographers and videographers. I do think they tried to pack way too much into a very small camera, hence the overheating issues. You don't need 8K right now as a videographer. Why do you need high resolution? This is the basis you should base your decision on. If you plan on shooting wide and cropping in on post in order to reframe your composition, you need high resolution, so you can do that. But 6K is still more than enough. 8K and 12K is ridiculous, but you know, it's used for a specific audience. Do you need the Canon EOS-R 5? You don't. You can get away with good lighting, good composition, and a good lens on a cheaper camera. The 5D Mark II is still beating some of these best cameras coming out. The EOS-R 5 is remarkable. I do think it needs more testing, and I also think that it is a monster of a camera. And out of all of them, if you're shooting YouTube content, want to take it to the next level, get it. Because overheating, won't matter. Overheating will be fixed and you'll learn how to shoot exactly what you need when you want it. I love the Blackmagic because the color science, that's what I'm sticking to. Now Sony's been dealing with overheating issues more than Canon. So when this camera comes out, I believe that it will not overheat. It's got your 4K 120, it's got in-body stabilization. The Zeiss lenses are remarkable. They're high quality lenses. Gosh, these bugs, goodness gracious. I don't typically do all this, guys. Ah! But that sky though looks dope. I'm shooting on the 35mm 1.8 right now, the 35, the RF lens. That's what you guys are looking at in 1080 graded in DaVinci Resolve. That's why it looks so good. And come to find out, DaVinci is actually the reason why I've been getting better quality. Not because I've been shooting in 6K RAW all the time, although that's a good thing. It's because I've been grading in DaVinci and editing in DaVinci more than Final Cut. That's why my stuff looks that much better. Moving on, the Sony camera. Should you get this versus the R5 or the new 12K Blackmagic? Now, these cameras aren't comparable, except the Sony and the R5, I guess, but the 12K, out of the question. You don't need to buy it because it's geared for a very specific audience. So the R5, the Sony. If I had to pick two, the Blackmagic wasn't in the middle, I would say you need to pick the Sony camera. Although I love you, Canon, and I'm shooting on the R right now. Oh my gosh, I love Canon, and I actually don't like Sony cameras because I don't like their color science. And when you grade them, their image falls apart much faster than Canon. The difference is that when you under or overexpose with Canon, it's harder to bring it back. You can do it with Sony, except their image just falls apart the more you do it. Hope that makes sense. Now the Sony camera, why should you get that versus the R5? And here's why. In-body stabilization, they've dealt with overheating issues. Heavy duty camera, they got great lenses. Although the RF are some of the most advanced optical lenses out there right now, the Sony gives you so many functions. If you're just getting into this, if you are in YouTube and you want to shoot higher quality content, the Sony gives you all of the functions. Although it's not user friendly, that's a good thing because that means it has endless amounts of options for you to dial in your image and to really perfect what it is that you are shooting. Now, who are these cameras made for? They're made for indie photographers and videographers and YouTubers. Would I show up to a commercial shoot with this Canon EOS-R? Probably not. That's where I show up with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera 6K, rigged out with lenses and lights and matte boxes and all this stuff, so it looks big. But can you get away? Can you get away shooting with the Sony and the R5? Yes. So what are my final thoughts? The Blackmagic 12K is geared towards high-end cinematographers. I would love the camera, but my wife will not let me buy it. One of these days. Oh, what do I gotta do? What do I gotta do? The Canon EOS-R versus the Sony. I would personally pick the Sony. Now, if the Blackmagic 6K was still in the mix, buy it, because I think that camera trumps all of them because it gives you 6K RAW. Uncompressed if you want it, up to 50 frames per second. That is perfect. You got 4K up to 60 frames per second, which is remarkable. And then you have 2.7K at 120 frames per second. Yes, you can shoot all of the high frame rates with the best color science, Generation 5 color science, mini XLR inputs. You can go HDMI out, everything on a CFast, dual card slots. Like, you're missing in-body stabilization, but you got a screenshot mode if you want to take a picture. And guys, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K is still my favorite camera, and that's probably why, although I'm not allowed to buy it because my wife said so, that's probably why I will decide to stick with this camera until something comes out that really catches my attention. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, give it a dislike, which I'm sure it'll get, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already to see more content like this. Any questions you guys have for me regarding the gear I use, the camera I use, stay tuned because I got something special coming for you. Now I gotta get out of here because goodness gracious, these bugs are killing me.